I'm good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Winning Streak. We are currently on episode 6, and I'm your host, Bryson.
And I'm Zeke.
And before we get into the episode today, we are sponsored by Wrist Mafia. Use code Bryson16513 for 20% off any orders. Now, a lot of topics to get through today. First one starting off with Bradley Beal to the
Bradley Beal to the
Suns.
Suns. So that happened last Sunday. So we were a little bit
Right
behind
after,
the curve on it, but
yeah. Well, actually, we
I
kind
mean
of
it
posted it
really
right
shook up.
before the trade. We talked
Yeah,
about
it
it.
was.
But, so
I mean
Suns
we were
got,
ready for it, but like
yeah. It's not what I wanted. Other episode, I was
me
really
either.
shitting on the trade. Happened the next day.
Yeah,
We jinxed it.
we
So
really did.
Suns got Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd, and the Wizards got Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and I think it was Pacers were involved. The Wizards got, I want to say, like 10 to 12 picks or pick swaps out of this trade, which is
I would
pretty
like to
insane.
say it was 6 second-round picks and 4
8,
first
9,
round pick
10.
swaps.
Gee, yeah, it was 10 total, not picks or just like all
Yeah.
combined, which is insane regardless of
I'm
what
not
they
really
are.
worried about the pick swaps besides the fact that we can't really trade them.
Hmm.
Um because I feel like the Wizards are going to continually be worse than us. So I'm not really worried
Yeah,
about having to like I don't
yeah.
I
There's
don't
no
see
way they're
us
gonna
going
finish
like
above us.
super high into the lottery or anything within the next like I mean the latest one was I believe was like 2030.
I
So
think so. Yeah,
um
it might have been
within
27
within the
actually.
next yeah maybe within the next like 7 years I'm not really worried about like being a really bad team like ending up
Yeah,
like
no.
how when the Nets had a bunch of pick swaps with the Celtics, and that's how the Celtics got
Yeah,
where they're at with like because I mean they were still good and they were having like top 3 picks every year from the Nets trade
yeah.
for
I got
Kevin
lucky with
Garnett
that.
and Pierce. So
Yeah,
like I'm not worried about it like that to be honest. Like I mean it would have been nice to have second round picks, but I think it was like a pretty solid trade.
yeah. It
And to
was.
get
I feel like it was pretty even, honestly. Like
hmm
we didn't really give up too much. The only thing we'll get into more
is
later is his contract.
yeah his
For
contract's
me,
pretty bad.
really bad. We owe him, I think, 208 million, which is pretty insane. He's still owed
Yeah.
208 million. I mean, and then after that, so Chris Paul went to the Wizards, obviously with that trade. The Wizards then flipped him to the Warriors
Stuff I'm sure the
for,
Warriors, yeah.
was it just Jordan Poole and picks, right?
Jordan
I can
Poole
check.
and one first round pick, and I believe he's
So
I don't know, it might have been second round picks.
I
Two
think it
second round
was. I
picks.
think it was a 2027 second round and a 2030 first round, if I'm correct.
Possibly. Or
So
it might
Chris
have
Paul
I know it was
traded to
twenty
them.
twenty seven and 2030, so I
Might have
think
been flipped
they
around.
might have I think they might have both been second round picks. I think there was a lot of false information going around right when it came out
Yeah,
that they were
that's true.
first round picks. So I don't really know.
That would be
I
way too
didn't
much.
I'm not a Warriors fan, so I didn't look in depth.
Nah.
So
So Wizards get Jordan Poole. I kind of want to talk
good.
about that for a minute
Yeah,
because
that
we were
honestly,
talking
like,
about this the other day. 28 points per game on 3% shooting. Like he's just gonna be taking all the shots. I feel like.
yeah,
I mean, obviously they're not gonna
he's.
get very far anyways, but I
I
feel like
mean,
he's just gonna hold them back if anything.
getting into their next trade um that the Wizards made. So, like, we'll get into that, but like that
Hmm.
team is pretty much like fully restarted. They're
Yeah,
like
they're
bare
in a rebuild.
bones. I mean, they made some. We'll get into the draft as well, but I mean, their
Hmm.
pickups were they were like
They were okay.
I
They weren't
wasn't
that
really
good.
messing with it. They kind of went for potential. I think they knew they didn't have a high pick this year, so they were
Yeah.
just like. I mean, they had like I think they were picking number 7 or number 8. They swapped with Pacers,
Yeah, they did swap
7
with
and
the
8.
Pacers, and
Um,
kind of weird, but
yeah, it was kind of an
it
odd pick
worked.
because I felt like they kind of needed Truce Walker, and they
Yeah, for
traded him
sure.
to the Pacers when the Pacers didn't really need a power forward, unless I mean they're really planning on moving away from Miles Turner. But
I don't see. I mean, unless they're looking to just fully rebuild, I don't see why they would want to move away from him. He's a really solid player.
yeah, he is.
Like Miles Turner has been one of my, I'm not gonna say favorite players, but he's really,
Mhm.
really underrated. and he's super good compared to what people talk about with him.
So
And
like
then,
I feel like Jordan Poole, that's a perfect situation for him. I mean, you have like
mhm.
the only other confident scorer on that team would be Kyle Kuzma. So,
Yeah, and
and
that's.
I wouldn't say confident, and also he's a free agent, restricted free agent. So I don't
Oh,
know
is
if
he?
he's gonna stay or not. I've heard a lot of rumors about him going to Phoenix because he's been posting up a bunch of
Oh
pictures.
God, I hope
I would
not.
actually be completely fine with that. I
His
think he's a
contract.
well,
I mean,
he would sign something light so he could win.
oh okay. Well, yeah,
Would
I
be
would take
the
that then. I'd for sure
would be
take
the
him
upside
on
of
our
that.
team if his contract wasn't too
Wasn't
bad.
crazy. I don't think he was getting paid that much for with the Wizards there either. And I mean, he was like a solid 20 point a game scorer. I think
Let me
he might
see
have been
really quick.
making about like 18 million or something like that, which isn't like horrible, but like he would be like, I mean, he
I
would
feel like
start for the Suns, of course.
yeah, we could give
So
him
he would start at power
11
forward.
or 12 maybe.
I don't know. In that situation, he would probably have to come off the bench unless
Three
we're gonna play
year
Book at
his contract was a 3 year 39 million. So he's only making 13.
unless it was backloaded. It was probably backloaded, but
True.
um,
What is
but
Kyle
I mean,
Kuzma contract? That's better. No, it just says 3 year 39 million. Doesn't really say anything else. So I'll take
you'd have to
that
go into like, I mean, yeah, I would be fine with that. I mean, there
if
was a
that's
lot
it.
of like, I feel like the market isn't very good for free agents right now. Besides
No.
like Kyrie and Harden, they're really the
Mhm.
only two people like on the board. There aren't even that many good role players right now, which is kind of disappointing.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of what we
off
need.
the top of my head, the best role player that was really available was Nas Reed, and he re-signed
Hmm. Well,
on a
Draymond is
decent deal.
available now.
Yeah, Draymond is available as well, but
His
I mean
contract. I feel
he's
like
aging, but he's a good fit for like every contending team. So
yeah. The thing I think though, like he is aging for sure, but like a player like him, like I feel like his age doesn't really matter as much as like
yeah,
a star player. Like if we were to get an
hmm
older version of like I know Kyrie's not old, but an older version of Kyrie or an older version of Draymond, like I feel like Draymond could end up being more productive as he's aging. Like we could keep him for longer than we could
yeah.
keep a star that has to move a
He
ton
also
and he doesn't run.
he isn't that integral to a team too. So like if he isn't playing that well or gets injured, it isn't
Yeah,
like
you could.
completely over for your team. Because I mean, like the
Yeah,
Warriors were still winning series without him.
yeah,
Like
you can live without him, but it's really great to have him, but you don't need him. That's why I think he's
yeah,
such a good player to have.
and I think that's why teams like I mean the Warriors were winning championships with him.
Yeah,
Because
he was a big part of it. People don't talk about that enough, in my opinion.
I mean he was defensive player of the year. I mean
Hmm.
one year he like led the league in assists.
Yeah. By the way, if you hear noises, some construction going on, so sorry about that. I told him to shut up, but it doesn't work.
um, so I mean, getting on to Son's contract situation. I mean,
Yeah.
like
So so next season between Aiton, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, I'm pretty sure I saw it was that they're already 3 million over cap
yeah,
space just with those four players.
which like speaking of that, the reports are saying the Suns are going to stay with Aiton. So
How's that even gonna work?
I
Like,
well the thing is how the cap works is they won't allow you to not have enough players. So you can go
mm,
over the cap, but you can't spend more than like the minimum per contract. So
mm,
we would have to sign 11 vet minimum
oh my
players
god, dude,
to fill out
that'd
the
be horrible.
roster. So I mean, it really depends who you can convince to sign for vet minimum.
I mean, if
So like,
teams are looking to win, if I mean not teams, if players are looking to win right now, like it's just would you rather have more money or would you rather win? If you're looking to win, you can go to the Suns for a minimum contract and you can win. But if you're looking to get
yeah,
paid, go to Utah or the
Houston,
Wizards at this point. Yeah, go to a crappy team and lose, but that's on you. That's how I think about
yeah.
it. I feel like there's got
I
to be
mean,
some pretty decent
and
players who are just
realistically,
looking to win.
if we were able to move on from Aiton, or we didn't trade for Beal and just moved that contract from Chris Paul and Landry Shamet, we
Hmm.
would have had so much room to sign like good
Yeah,
players. I
yeah,
mean, even in that situation, you keep Ayton and you still have like $40 million to bring in.
Mhm.
Like you bring in four good players on 10 million a year, and that's enough to win a championship.
Yeah,
So like,
for sure. Yeah.
because really you only need like a 10 man rotation, and then if two of those people in the 10 man rotation aren't that good, boo hoo. Like at that
Yeah.
point, you're still if you have those other players that are going to be good, you don't have to worry about it. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I would prefer Aiton gone at this point
Me too.
because, I mean, I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to play good this year, but which is
He's
why I'm a
not
little
worth
bit worried
what?
about trading him to like a team like Dallas
I was about to
or
bring that up.
Atlanta. Because what if he goes back to his old form and teams like Dallas or like the Hawks win a championship? Then
Yeah, that'd be awkward for the
then we
Suns.
have to say we got fleeced
Mhm.
in a trade
Like
where
that's what I
he
was
ends
thinking as
up
well.
going like MVP caliber, winning
Yeah.
championships. So like that's why I don't want to trade him, especially to a rival like Dallas. I
Mhm.
mean, well now with like, well, I mean I don't feel like the Suns were ever going to trade for John Collins, so we'll get into that
No.
too. But
Yeah.
um, he, I feel like in that situation you would go for Clint Capella because I mean
Yeah,
he's on a
for
better
sure. Yeah.
contract, but I wouldn't say he's that much better than Aiton. But I mean he's a true rebounding center, so
Well,
I don't know.
that's the thing though. Is like I when I was thinking about trading Aiton, like I mentioned this to you, like trading him to the Mavericks for Christian Wood,
Hmm.
two bench players, and maybe a pick if he's worth that much to them. Like if we trade him for that, or we trade him for John Collins and Clint Capella, like we don't need an absolute star center.
Yeah.
Like we're hoping
That's
for him
why I
to be a good
preferred
center.
Clint
That's the
Capella
thing.
because he's only getting paid like 17 mil a year. But I mean,
I don't think
I think
Christian Wood
John,
is making much at all.
I think he's making about like 24 or something like that.
He barely
But
played. I didn't really watch him that much, but I feel like he didn't really play that much
he
or
got
do
like a
very
big
good.
extension
That's
like
weird.
a year or two ago. But John Collins is on like a 28 a year or something like that. So I don't
Ooh.
think he would have been that good of a fit. But I mean, that's still like, I believe Aiton is making like 34 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I I would prefer. I feel like last season we should have let go of Aiton, and we wouldn't have been in this predicament. But
Yeah, for sure.
can't really go
I
back in
just
time.
think
So I
like
mean,
the thing we're hoping that Aiton is gonna be if we keep him, we're hoping he's gonna be way better and
yeah.
he's just gonna go off. Like if we
Honestly,
keep
I
him and he
just
plays trash again, and we could have had a rebounding and defense only center who doesn't need to score that
mhm.
much because he doesn't need to score that much, and we had
Yeah.
all that cap space, it's
We
gonna look
have
stupid.
three people that could win a scoring title on the team right now. So
Exactly.
um, I think realistically, like Clint Capella would be perfect for that situation because he'll go out and
Mhm.
get you 15 boards. Like we need
Yeah,
15 boards. I mean, Aiton can get you. I mean,
he can get you boards, but he
we
doesn't.
watched Aiton get you like in the 2021 playoffs. He was getting up like putting up like 21 points, 18 boards, 6 blocks, and he stopped doing that. But like, I mean, we don't
Yeah.
need him to score those 20 points. If he's getting us 20 boards every night, then yeah, I want him on the team. But like, I'm a little
Yeah.
bit worried about that contract situation because I mean, I would
Mhm.
prefer if we're gonna keep him, we're gonna have to like get rid of him at the All Star break or before and bring in other
Mhm.
assets because still win games, but I'm worried about playoff success. So
Yeah.
I think realistically, if Aiton plays at the best of his ability, which I think if we tell him like, because I don't know if he wants to play in Phoenix or not. You tell him if he plays good, we'll trade him.
I see why you wouldn't.
Because I
Like, there's
mean,
no reason he wouldn't want to.
if he plays bad, then he's not gonna get traded. Nobody wants him. That was the
Yeah.
problem we were having is we couldn't get equal compensation, in our opinion. And I mean, I don't blame the other team for not wanting to spend a lot
Yeah. It's
for a
fair.
player that plays bad, argues
Mhm.
with his coach, even though Monty was a horrible coach, but like
I partly
still.
do blame Monty, but
I don't
you
even
can't put
partly blame
all
him.
the blame on him.
I like 99% blame him.
Yeah. But I just like the thing I'm thinking is two things. One about Aiton, we need complete hustle from him, and we need him to know his job on
Hmm.
the court. Like
He just
we
needs
need
to
to
know
tell
his
him not
role,
to
to be
score. He
honest.
needs to stop shooting. I was watching
Mid
the games in the
rangers.
early. Yes, exactly. He shoots such stupid pull up mid ranges for no reason. That's my
It's
least
like
favorite thing to watch about him.
him and Chris Paul were like, it was like right when they both like when Chris Paul came in, it was like that's gonna be a good like setup right there, and
Hmm.
it worked. But the problem was with like how Monty was running the offense, they both ended up just starting to take mid ranges every possession,
Yeah,
which I mean took away from the fact
it was
that
like a
Book could
fight
have
for who
like
could shoot worse.
if you check Book's stats too, his stats went down quite a bit after
Yeah,
Chris Paul
because he
came.
wasn't getting the
So
ball
like
as much.
yeah, and I feel like in that situation, instead of having shots where Ayton taking mid ranges, he should have been passing out to Booker who could drive or shoot.
Yeah,
So I mean like if Ayton can understand if he stays down low, he'll get the ball and he'll still score. He'll still
exactly.
give you 15 points every night.
And he's big. He can be physical too. Like he's a
He's
big center.
extremely physical. He's strong. I mean,
He just doesn't
he
play like that anymore. Like he could. It's super annoying. He could dunk the ball
um
at any given point he wants, but
yeah.
he'll go up for a mid range or a stupid layup. It's just
I mean, he
unnecessary what he does half the time.
like yeah, I mean, it was pretty aggravating watching him like just like run up and put up bad layups, especially in
Yeah.
the playoffs.
Hmm.
But I'm like, do you remember when he just absolutely like babied um Anthony Davis in the 2021 playoffs? Like if
Yeah.
he can get back to that point, he's a top five center. And if he's
Yeah.
gonna play like a top five center, I don't care about that contract. He can stay. I mean,
Yeah. And I mean,
because I
I
would
don't know though,
much
because
rather have
the other
I would
thing,
much rather have Aiton how he was playing than I would rather have Beal. So like,
yeah, I can agree with that. But the other thing I was gonna mention was if we keep Aiton, we have
mm,
a problem. I mean, we could work something out. Like
hmm
our front office is really good. We could definitely figure out our bench situation.
yeah,
But we keep Aiton. Let's assume we have a terrible bench because of that. We
hmm
have injury prone KD, apparently injury prone Aiton, like based off the last couple seasons in
I feel like
playoffs.
most of his injuries weren't real though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Beal,
I feel like
who
him
I'm pretty sure Beal hasn't played that many games in the past 2 seasons, has he? Or has he played a lot? I
Beal
thought
has
I saw
been
something about that.
he was down a few games. I was actually looking into that. He was playing like kind of. I think he played like about like 60 games last year or something like
Yeah,
that.
and then
But I
Book,
feel like
who can get injured. If you put them four on the court, we have no good bench. One of them goes out, there goes our chances because we don't have anyone to support them.
yeah. I'm
Like
more
that's
worried about. I wouldn't even like I wouldn't be that worried about even load managing KD. As much as I
yeah.
dislike load management, I'm more worried about the blowouts. And if it has to do
Hmm.
with like letting KD sit like 3 times a month or something like that,
Yeah.
especially on like road trips and stuff, I'm fine with that. So like,
Yeah. I don't like the whole load managing thing because it doesn't. Just the
I mean,
Clippers ruined it for me
yeah, Clippers
because
were
they made
that
it
wasn't even
terrible.
load management at that point. Like
Hmm.
Kawhi literally would play like once a week.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
If they were playing like 3 games in a week, they'd play once a week. He hit, and then they would switch off. Like, I mean, I even like felt bad for Paul George in that situation because I mean, he
Hmm.
was literally the only person playing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel bad for him now, seeing as like they're talking about trading Paul George and not Kawhi when Kawhi is the one who doesn't play, and
hmm
Paul George
Yeah, I
arguably has
mean,
played. I don't want to say arguably is better at this point because Kawhi had some crazy moments in these last playoffs, but
I
you could
wouldn't.
argue that Paul George could play better.
I don't even count Kawhi as an NBA player at this point. Like
Yeah, he's
he
more of a spectator
probably
in the
the
games.
so um yeah, he just shows up to games. I've seen him more at like football games and Drake music
At the
videos
clubs.
than
That video of him
actual.
at the
Bro,
club,
that
that
video is
video's
so
hilarious.
funny, bro.
He looks emotionless and the just sitting there. So,
Um,
you want to get into the
I
next
mean,
topic or anything
yeah,
else?
let's go ahead. Let's
Okay,
kind of
so
talk on that for a little bit. Um,
Celtics had a trade. So Celtics received Kristaps Porzingis and a 2023 first round pick, 2024 first round pick. From what I'm reading, I don't know how accurate this is. I think they changed it,
well,
didn't they?
no, yeah,
They
because it
cha-
couldn't have been 2023.
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically they got Porzingis and picks, and Grizzlies got Marcus Smart.
Mm-hmm.
I was heartbroken for Celtics fans with that one, just because
Because I mean, Marcus
it's
Smart is
sad.
the type of player that plays for the Celtics for his whole career. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, Marcus Smart is one of my favorite NBA players. I think he's just
Hmm.
like he
He's
he
super good
plays
all around.
he plays basketball how everybody plays basketball.
Yeah. he's
I mean,
he's like the
it's just
best. He's one of the best role players and like just kind of all around guys in my
mhm.
opinion.
I
Like,
think he's like central to like a championship team, and I think that's a good pickup,
yeah,
honestly. Although they kind of sent
it is.
like quite a bit of picks, but I think it's still like um uh
So do you think
I
I
think
had a question. Do you think he plays point guard for John Morant while he's gone? Because he can move the ball around. He can. He's not gonna. I mean, he would kind of have to be a good scorer in that scenario. But I mean, they don't really have another option other than John Morant. I'm gonna text my mom again because I already texted her and she didn't answer.
um I think I don't know, maybe he can play point guard because it's only 25 games, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
So
Should
I
have been
mean, it's kind of
25
funny
seasons.
how you're one of those. Um, that actually reminds me, like Aiton got a 25 game suspension for using performance enhancing drugs, and
I
they
forgot
gave
about that.
he was on demon time. I remember he
Yeah.
played one game. I went to that game, bro. I've never seen a center play like that in my entire life, bro. Had like 6 blocks, bro. Bro was sending
It
like
was a
every
drug.
shot into like the fifth row, and then like bro got drug tested the next day. Okay, back to what I was saying. I get sidetracked so easy, but I think
It
he'll
works.
probably. I guess he'll play point guard in that situation. I feel like he's more of a shooting guard, of course. I mean, that's where he
Mhm.
plays right now, but not
Yeah.
really. I mean, they were running.
He could run either.
They were running Brogdon at point, so
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, I mean, he is a point guard, pass first.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't come off as a
And then
point guard.
speaking of Brogdon, the original trade they were supposed to send him to the Clippers. So, I mean,
I didn't hear
they
about
said
that
he
one
has a
actually.
like. You remember how they like the Porzingis trade
Hmm.
where they were saying that Brogdon was going to go to the
Oh yeah,
Clippers,
I
and
do
then
remember that.
it got canceled like 2 hours later because they were worried about his injury issues.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know because in that situation, they're clearly trying to clear cap space so they can fit
Yeah,
both contracts for Jaylen Brown and Jason
which
Tatum.
I don't even think that duo can. After watching what happened to them, I don't think it can even work out. I think it was dumb to get rid of Smart.
I also don't think that Jaylen Brown likes Jason Tatum. So
It's
I
starting to
think
look
there's a
like
part of
that.
that. I don't think he's really a big fan of being there either. So I mean, like, and I think he's arguably better. So I mean,
Yeah,
if
it's
you
just
like,
kind of. It was hard to
I
watch them
understand why
play
they're trying to
together.
clear cap because he's supposed to be like he's a star caliber player.
Yeah,
So and always on my fantasy basketball lineup. So
yeah. He's a really good player.
yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but together they don't
It,
work because they both want to have
they're
the same
both
play
ball
style.
dominant.
Yeah,
So and they
I
play
feel like they
similar.
both try to play the exact same, and their styles are
Mm,
I need to be the number one player, give me the ball every
yeah,
time, and that doesn't work when there's two players on the same team doing that. One of
yeah.
them needs to know their place and change their style, which they're probably going to make it be Jaylen Brown. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's pissed and wants out at this point if they do that. And that would make sense for them to do, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't want that to happen if I'm Jaylen Brown, because I want to be the
Yeah.
star player. Because
Which
he
I
could
think
go
that's
to a
why he should
crappy
go to
team.
Houston.
I
I
was
think
about
he
to
should go
mention
to
that.
Houston, or even he could even like just like switch
Pacers.
sides and go to Miami. That'd
That
be
would be
pretty
pretty
cool.
crazy. That would
I
be
think
pretty good. I think they can probably. Can they afford that? I
they
don't
could
really
get it
know their
done. They could
situation.
for sure get it done. I
They
don't
could
think their
win with
cap
someone like
situation is
him.
that bad. I think if you send like Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero, I think
Then you
that
kind
trade
of. I
works.
mean, you don't lose a lot, but you lose
Because
two of
that's
your
pretty
key
much just
players. Not
sending.
Tyler
That's
Hero,
pretty much
actually.
just sending Tyler Hero. That's real. Kyle Lowry isn't doing much over there.
Whoa. I think he. Yeah, I guess you're right.
He's
I'll,
really
I'll,
just
I'll agree
like
with you to spare some time.
he's a bench ornament.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to think of that though, because he
That
was really
caboose
good.
is a bench ornament.
Wow. Wow.
We're having a
That's
discussion
a
about this, okay?
that's a
I'm sorry.
statement. That's
Okay,
for next
so
episode. Talk about
yeah,
his caboose
I
next
mean,
episode.
we should round off this segment real quick, but I mean,
Switch it over.
Porzingis, I think like Porzingis is gonna be a good fit.
No, I
Now that
don't
I
think
think
he's
about
even
it,
good.
that isn't that like I don't think they're gonna try to keep Jalen Brown because Porzingis is on a big contract as well, so I don't really know how that's supposed to work.
Which is
Um,
weird. Like he's not
Especially
that
because
good
Porzingis isn't good.
at all.
He signed that massive contract with the Mavericks.
Was
Suspicious.
him with the Mavericks?
Yeah,
He
suspicious
was
white
on.
supremacy.
Wasn't
The
he on the
Knicks, and
Wizards
he
at
got
one
traded.
point too, or no? I feel like he was. Or am I wrong?
He was on the
Because I
Wizards. That's
remember
where the
him
trade
being.
came from.
Yeah, stupid. All right. Forget what I said.
Okay.
So
Speaking of
switch it over.
the Wizards, because they're because Draymond
Talk of the
Green's
NBA right
biggest
now.
op is is now on the Wizards. So
So he declined. How
who's your
much was
favorite
it?
player?
Yeah, Draymond.
A lot
Oh
of
my
money.
God, bro.
So,
Draymond, we're getting a new pantry done, and
bro,
this
and then
dude,
tearing down the whole house to the bathroom.
pretty much, bro. Apparently, bro. So he declined. It was between 23 and 27 million. I don't remember, but
Something about that. It was
Draymond
probably 27
declined
then.
his player option to enter free agency. I think he's still gonna stay, just because he doesn't seem like he's gonna
You
leave.
think
But I
he's gonna
really
sign something a
think,
little bit cheaper?
yeah, I really think he
Uh,
could go to LA though. And by LA, I
he,
mean Lakers, not Clippers.
yeah,
I
we
think he
know.
would sign like vet minimum to play with LeBron. Like,
Yeah,
and I don't blame him. That team is
he reminds me of a certain
championship
person
ready.
with LeBron.
All right.
um, um. So I mean, I think he'll probably go to the only teams that make sense are Warriors, Lakers, and Mavericks. So
Mhm.
um,
He could
I
back
mean,
up AD.
technically could go to the Bucks with Chris Middleton declining his player option, which I don't know if
True.
he's gonna re-sign for cheaper or if he's gonna leave, which I think would be weird if
I don't see him leaving
Chris
at all.
Middleton left. I mean, where does he even go in that situation? Like the Pacers or something? Like
Yeah, probably. I mean, I
the
could see him
Knicks?
ending
He
up
could go
there.
to the Knicks, but he wasn't very good this year, so
No. I mean, he
I
was
think that's a part of it.
okay. I
He
think
didn't
he
want to
was
take up
out
as
for a
much
tiny
space as
bit,
he.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
So, can't really put too much blame on him for that part,
yeah.
but I think he's a really solid player still. I think he
Mhm.
could go either way. Same with Draymond. Like, Draymond can basically pick where he wants to go at this point because I'm
Yeah,
sure there's tons of teams who, if they can afford him, would want him. Because why wouldn't
yeah.
you want him? In my opinion, like he doesn't
The
score that much.
only thing
Obviously,
I
like
could
he
say about him
averages.
like not winning him is he's kind of like he causes like
He can be a cancer to a team. Yeah,
chemistry issues. I mean, I
I
think
can
that's
agree
the
with that, but
reason
it's not that
they
bad.
didn't even get close to going back to back this year is because of his problems with Jordan Poole. So,
Yeah,
which was so odd. Like, how are you gonna have a problem with Jordan Poole? Because like,
yeah.
bro was like a kid, and like
He was
you're a
talking shit. So
bro
I
was like
mean,
an
I
old man.
slightly understand, but you gotta have chill when it's your teammate. Like you can't be
Yeah.
doing that kind of
Bro,
stuff
the
to
problem
your
is
own
he thinks
teammate.
he's Michael Jordan. You can't get away with punching your teammate unless you're Michael Jordan.
It was pretty funny though. The
Yeah.
video is hilarious.
Yeah, the video is hilarious.
Once we get
Um,
better at editing, we'll bring it back up and we'll,
yeah.
we'll put the video. But I think Lakers would be very very good with him on the team. Like I think
Mm,
they could, cause I feel like part of the thing they were missing was a role player to move the ball around. They weren't really missing out too much on rebounding, I wouldn't say,
mhm.
and they were just missing out on like a facilitator on the team, and that's exactly what Draymond is. And he can play good minutes still. Like he's
Yeah,
old, but he doesn't
he's good.
he doesn't run around the whole time. He has Steph Curry to literally run laps around the entire court, the entire
Mhm.
game. So he just sits there, screen and pass, and it works.
Yeah,
So pairing him with LeBron would be good for him,
yeah.
obviously, as we
His
know,
king.
and yeah, and it would work out. Hey, chill, we want him on here one day.
He knows it. He said it himself.
Oh
He
yeah,
said
that's
even
true.
hey.
We now
He
have as
said
many
my king.
episodes as LeBron has All-Star appearances. Have you seen that?
What?
You haven't seen that, dude? On his
No.
show, he's like, we're on episode 18. We now have as many episodes as LeBron has All-Star
Oh
appearances.
yeah, I did
Just
see
it
it.
was
Yeah.
so random. It was
But it really is his key. Um. Okay,
so I
we should
guess I
move
mean
on to Heat.
just ended on him going
With
to Lakers.
yeah,
So I put Heat next move, Dame, Kyrie, or
because
Harden.
I mean them out of the hunt with Dame, which apparently they were sending a lot, or not Dame, Beal. Beal, my bad. I
Were they
apologize.
really sending a lot for
They were
Beal?
gonna send like, they were gonna send like three role players and picks. Like
Wow,
supposedly they were gonna send for like 4 first round picks or something like that.
for Beal?
Yes,
Oh my, 4 first round?
something like that, bro. Like they were gonna send like Duncan Robinson, Kyle
Jesus.
Lowry, um, some other role player, and then they were gonna send like 3 or 4 first.
I'd
So,
take that for Dame,
well, the
honestly. Like,
maybe I don't know.
I mean, Portland needs
I
to
feel like
realize they're
they're
not going
asking
anywhere
they're.
with
I
Dame.
feel
They
like
need
the
to
asking
rebuild.
point is like for Dame realistically 4 or 5 first round picks
Yeah, which
would
is
be the
fair.
which
And
maybe
if Miami's looking
maybe
to win, they should just do it.
OKC should try to bring him in. Should be cool.
They have too good of a young core and good
Well,
spacing and
the
cap space to
thing
bring in a star, in my
I
opinion.
think the pro to that is then you have a guy that can like mentor Shea
Yeah.
Alexander. So I
I
mean
feel like you
like
shouldn't
in that
send that
situation,
much for him, though. You have too much good
well,
going for you right now.
if you have 20 first round picks and
True.
within the next
Alright, that's
within
a
the
good
next
point.
like 8 years, and you send 5 away, and there's a good chance those 5 picks weren't going to be that great of players anyway, and you can't fit
Yeah.
20 first round picks on your roster anyway. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they have
I
that
think
much, then I guess it works out. But
that's
I
why I
just
feel
like
like every
OKC. I
time a
love
trade
watching them
comes up
build.
and everyone's like talking about teams, I'm just thinking like OKC could pull the trigger anytime they want and get whatever
Yeah,
trade they want because they have so many assets. So like,
they're smart though. Honestly, like with
mhm.
what they're doing, their rebuild. I feel like they're having one of the best rebuilds just
They had
in
by far the
general,
best
like
rebuild.
ever.
I can't think of anybody else that's even close. I mean, the Wizards are doing it the right way. I feel like
Yeah,
they still have like, I
a
mean,
couple
even
years to go for
OKC
that.
did it the right way because they got all those assets and they were never bad. So like,
Mhm.
well, I mean, they were bad like
They're just like
last
an
year.
average team, honestly.
Well, I mean, they
Like
literally they got the second pick
that's
like
true.
last year. So I was gonna say they weren't bad. I completely forgot they only won like
They were
15
trash.
games or something like that, like 2 years ago.
That was before Shea went off though.
Yeah.
So he's
No, that
a
was around
star
the same
caliber
time. It's
player
just
now.
that whole team was horrible. He was like the
Yeah.
only good player. And I feel like imagine if the Clippers didn't trade him. Like that's such an insane situation. But we need to get back to the Heat.
Mhm.
I feel like
Oh yeah. I forgot we were even
I
on the
think
Heat.
Dame is extremely realistic to go to the Heat, and I saw like a report that he's like trying to get in contact to like do something.
That makes sense. I just, like I said a few minutes ago, Portland needs to realize they aren't going anywhere with Dame,
Hmm.
and they're not taking him anywhere. He's not taking them anywhere.
Yeah,
It
I
they got Scoot, didn't they? If unless
yeah
I'm
they got
wrong,
Scoot. That's a
they
good
have
place to
one of they have
restart.
the best
You have
player in the
Scoot,
draft.
and you have yeah, I agree with you on that.
He's
They
better
have
than Victor
Scoot. They
Wembanyama.
have Anfernee Simons. I mean, I've heard rumors that they're trying to bring in Pascal Siakam for Anfernee Simons, and
That's
I think
good.
that's cool. I think
For
that's a
them.
good pickup. If they keep Dame in that
Mhm.
situation, they'll be good next year. But
Just not good enough though. Like Dame, I know he wants to win. You can tell at this point. He was saying
yeah,
on Instagram Live, I would love to go to Miami. Like you don't
yeah,
just say that and stay
um,
on a team. Like
yeah. And then
he's
like I think Kyrie is somewhat realistic to go to the Heat. I don't I don't
I
know.
can see
He
it.
wants to go to the
I
Heat
mean,
though. Like
he's known for joining super teams, and at this point they could be not like a super team like what's in the league right now, like how the Warriors were and stuff like
that's not
that.
a
But like
super team. That's a super duper good team.
yeah, exactly. I guess that's the way to put it for sure.
um, and then I don't see Harden at all. I don't see them trying
No,
to pair up a shooting guard, small forward lineup right there because
yeah, no, it doesn't
I
make
don't feel like
sense for him.
anybody's ever tried that to be honest. So like
Not that
no,
I can think of
I
off the top of my
scratched
head.
that LeBron and Wade,
True. I didn't even,
but I mean
one of the most
yeah
one of the top duos we forgot about. I
That was
think
a long time
Dame
ago. Like,
will
give
end
me a
up
second on
there.
that. That's pretty much
Do you think
before
they'll
our
do it
time.
before the season though, or will they do it during the
What?
season and see how Dame does with Scoot and the rest of the
Oh,
team
like a
before they trade him?
mid-season trade with
Yeah,
Dame? I don't know. Because I
I
mean,
feel like they should
the
just do it.
draft is passed anyway, so like at this point, it
Mm.
doesn't really matter unless they're trying to like build a
Yeah,
team during free agency. But
which would make sense in my opinion.
yeah,
Like
I don't know.
Blazers are just terrible. So
I don't really know what kind of like trade assets the Heat have. I don't remember them making any big trades recently. Most of their team is signed, so
mhm.
not weren't traded, so they have picks. So I don't
Well,
really know.
you give. I feel like they should just go into. I mean, they don't need to go into a win now situation like the Suns
Yeah,
do, but they
but I
don't
mean,
have.
Jimmy Butler
Some of
is
their players are a
aging,
little bit
so
older. Yeah, Bam's not that old really.
Bam is
Jimmy
young.
Butler is
So
aging. Kyle Lowry
I'm
is
not worried about
aging.
him.
Duncan
Kyle
Robinson
Lowry's
is
window is
Duncan
over, bro.
Robinson. Yeah, I mean,
Kyle
you bring in
Lowry's
Dame,
out of the
give him
NBA in 2 years, so
probably. You bring
if
in
not
Dame in the
1 year.
next 2 or 3 years, you could win a championship.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I
I don't know.
think Dame is. This might be a hot take, but like I think right now he's the best point guard in the NBA over
That's
Curry.
a pretty hot take. I wouldn't. I don't know.
I
Just
think
based
he's
off team
better than
success,
Curry
I'm just
right
not
now.
gonna
But
agree with
like
that.
team success wise, yeah, I completely understand why somebody would say
I really
otherwise.
don't like Dame. Nothing like against his play style or anything. I just hate how dumb he is for staying with the team for this long.
Yeah, I
Like
get
I
it.
get he's finally getting out of there, but I
I
can't
feel
respect a
like
player who
that's
does
like
stupid stuff like that.
I actually I like it when players are loyal,
Not like this.
but like this is just beyond it. Like they're horrible.
Yeah,
They're like oh no.
your mic broke.
Yeah. Um
Some technical difficulties this episode with construction and
okay,
microphone
back
falling.
to what I was saying. I think hmm, not back to what I was saying. I can't remember what I was about to say. But I I think we said what needed to be said about the
Yeah,
Heat.
Dame to the Heat would be perfect. The final, I think the only other trade really to talk about
Was
is
John
John Collins to
Collins, which
Utah,
happened this morning.
Rudy Gay to the Hawks, and
Um,
2 picks to the Hawks. Yeah, it did happen this morning. It's
so
kind of,
like
I mean, there's not much to say about this
it
one.
was a little bit
It's good.
strange, especially because every big trade that was coming up, everybody was like, I'm not like not big trade, but like anytime there was like a star on the market, it was like
Mm,
every person was drafting up like to the Heat where they would send John Collins, and John Collins would be worth so much in that situation. Just
yeah,
for him to get traded for Rudy Gay and 2 second round
yeah,
picks.
it was super
Like
weird. I
I
mean, the
think John
two
Collins to Utah is
two
an
second
excellent
round.
fit. I think they're gonna be good next year. I mean that like
Yeah, they had a strong start this recent
John
season.
Collins, Colin Sexton, Colin Collins. Why not? Um, with Larry
The Colin.
Markkinen, um, that team's gonna be good. I
Yeah,
think it'll
they
be
had a really
solid.
strong start. They were top 3 in the standings in the beginning of the season, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Like in the first 15 games. So I mean, obviously it went downhill because they ended up finishing pretty trash. But
yeah,
they could rebuild even more before the season starts. There's plenty of time. They could get
yeah.
something big. They could even get a star and be good, in my opinion. If they
I
got
think if they wanted
Dame
to,
or
I don't
Kyrie,
know if
they
they will
wouldn't
though.
be a finals contender, but they could be in the playoffs and make a run.
I was gonna ask if Mike Conley was still on that team, but I remembered he's on the Timberwolves. Um,
Mm,
he was on the Timberwolves all of last
the
year. I
most
don't know how I forgot
average
that.
player currently.
Bro isn't even average anymore. Like, bro's non-existent. But
He
he
could
was
be a
so
good
good on
bench
the
piece.
Grizzlies too. But like
Yeah.
after he got traded to the Jazz, he kind of fell off.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's really all that needs to be said. I mean, John Collins is
Yeah.
good. I think he's a great
He
player.
could make an impact. I feel like he wanted out of the Hawks in Atlanta so bad. He just didn't play very good last season really. And
Mhm.
Hawks, I mean, they got I'm blanking. I mean, I know Trae Young, Clint Capella,
Dejounte Murray.
DeJounte Murray. I don't know. I said DeAndre. Yeah, DeJounte Murray and Trae.
You could
If
have
they
you
got
could have
more
pretended like
chemistry
you were
down,
gonna say DeAndre Hunter. You kind of slipped up there.
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
You missed your window.
I
Um,
forgot about him honestly, but I feel
I
like if they
think
get the chemistry down this off season, that could be a
mhm.
super. They could have a quick team. Like they're all just like they're all really athletic,
Was
just
Rudy
good
Gay
players.
already on the Hawks at one point? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think so.
For
Not that
whatever
I
reason, I
remember.
mixed up. I mixed up. Jordan. Not Jordan. What I was gonna say? I was gonna say. Jeff Teague.
Bro.
Jeff Teague and Rudy Gay. I was trying to remember like one of the like core guys on that 2015 Hawks team.
Mhm.
And it was Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague was lucky a dog.
He was.
Um, but I
Moving
think we
on.
should move on to the
Yeah,
draft. I
finish
mean,
it up.
really big stuff that happened. Like I feel like besides, with the exception of Cam Whitmore dropping to 20 due to character issues, I don't really know what they mean by
That's
that.
that's bull.
But
I don't agree with that.
besides that, I mean, like the whole top like 10 seemed pretty standard, except for whatever that French guy that got taken seventh. I'm
Yeah,
blanking
that
on his name.
was
That one was a
uh
different. That one was kind of weird
Bilal
because he apparently,
Koulibaly or something.
yeah,
He is not good. Like he's not a top 10 draft pick in my opinion
yeah,
at all.
apparently, like he was
He averaged
projected
5.
around 15.
He averaged
So
5 points with Victor Wembanyama on that team. And he's in the French league averaging 5 points and he goes top 10 in the NBA. They
yeah,
must be seeing it is the
insane potential in him. I
yeah,
mean, like
that's
I remember
I
seeing
don't
like,
understand that.
which I guess the upside of that is he has guard tendencies while being 6'7",
Yeah,
because he grew like
but
9 inches or something like that like a year.
But there's bigger players than him coming into the
Yeah,
league with guard tendencies now. It's like a new thing that's happening, and he's not going to fit in within the next 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. I think he's just going to be
and then I mean,
average.
besides that, I mean, like the Raptors took Dick at 13.
You could say Grady Dick. They took Richard.
Yeah, they took Richard. Grady Richard got drafted. I
I
mean,
think I think he's good. I think
I
he
think
could
he's good.
be
He played
solid,
really good
especially with
at
the
Kansas.
Raptors.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a good pickup. It's a I don't want to say a steal,
What do
but
you think about the Thompson twins?
I was about to
Amen and
mention
Ouser.
I
Ouser.
think
I don't know how
Houston
you say
won
that.
this draft, honestly.
Because they got Cam Whitmore
Houston had,
and
and yeah, they had such
and
good picks.
Amen.
Yeah, like
So
Amon
wait,
and Cam Whitmore are
did
gonna
they get?
be a
Yeah,
crazy
they
duo.
got Amen, and then the Pistons
They
got
got Cam Whitmore
Houston.
20th,
Sure.
and
Yeah,
then I think they had another pick unless I'm incorrect. I'm looking right now.
I mean, I think they drafted pretty well. I
No, I'm
mean, they
wrong.
got two small forwards, so I don't really know about that. But like,
They could move
if they're
either
trying to
one of them
move, if they're
to
trying to
shooting
move,
guard.
I don't know. I think they're probably closer. I mean, Cam Whitmore
Amon
can play
could play
shooting guard.
shooting guard. I think
I think
Amon
Amon
could
could
be a
even
good
play
shooting guard.
power forward if he wanted to, but he's not that physical.
He
I
could.
mean, he's athletic, but he's not very big. So
They could train him.
I mean, if
I
he plays
think
small
he could
ball,
shape out good. Yeah. I do want to mention who the hell did the Suns draft? Like, I don't
give him some slack, bro. It was pick
know.
57.
They could have had. Okay, but they could have had Jalen Clark, Chris Livingston. Like, they're both, I think, better than him. I like both those players. I think it was a
Okay.
weird pick.
I feel like
I think that's fair.
as the Suns, we were better off like drafting like Timmy from Gonzaga. Like
hmm
honestly, at that point, you might as well just go ahead and draft somebody at like that's like 23.
Yeah.
That's gonna be closer to NBA ready than somebody who's 19 and is gonna take 2 years to develop. I mean,
hmm
at that point, we're in win now mode, so like
Yeah,
you might
exactly.
as
Like, we could
well.
have taken someone better. Or, like, I mean, we could have tried to swap a pick and get rid of a bench player and swap up higher for sure. That could have easily worked out with
Yeah,
like a
I don't really know.
between 20 and 30. I think we could have gotten Derek Whitehead or just someone else, Nick Smith Jr. Like we could have gotten a pretty
Yeah,
decent player if we just traded Landale. Please get rid of Landale.
I don't even know if he's technically on the
I'm his
roster. I think
biggest hater.
he might be an option player right now, and I don't know
That'd be
how
great.
options work with cap space. I don't know if we're
Mhm.
like allowed to bring in all those guys on cap or not. I don't really know
We
because
should
I mean
probably start
I'd really
researching cap
prefer.
space rules more.
Yeah, I thought I had like a basic like knowledge just from playing 2K, but I don't know. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Um,
Building teams.
yeah,
Yeah. Well.
me going like 15 seasons trying to win the Sunset Championship on 2K. That's where I got all my knowledge from.
We'll make a second YouTube channel
Yeah.
called The Winning Streak Gaming, and we'll
Yeah.
play 2K.
Yeah.
And I'll kick his ass every single game like
Nuh-uh.
I usually do.
Things that never
I think
happened.
I'm not gonna lie, the draft we kind of underhyped it before it happened. There is some pretty good
There's
players.
decent
Oh,
prospects,
I
and
want to
especially
mention
prospects like
Jordan
Derek
Walsh.
Whitehead.
Jordan
Let's
Walsh
see
is
what
gonna
you got
be
to
a
say about
bucket.
Jordan Walsh. I think
He's
he's
gonna
gonna
be a
be a bucket. Where was he picked at?
He was picked 38th and traded to the Celtics. And he's a good fit for the Celtics.
What position is he? I've never heard of him. I'm not gonna lie.
You never
I
heard
don't
of
watch a
Jordan
lot of
Walsh?
college. I don't watch a lot of college hoops, so
Let me look this up.
I can know who like the top 15 are, or like top 20.
Yeah,
But after that, I kind of my
he's
knowledge
the
is a little off.
he's his high school highlights were insane. He's bald. He's
Oh.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I think he has alopecia or however you pronounce it. I'm not really sure. But he's 6'7", 205. He's 19 years old. He's a small forward and power forward. Either one. So now he plays for the Celtics. He could be insane, I think. That could have been I think he might be the steal of the draft.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, if you're confident about your prediction, that's your prediction. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's my take. He's gonna be the biggest steal of this draft by far.
you think he's
Unless
role
they don't
player,
play him.
like good solid role player, or you think he's like
I think he could
all
start.
star? Like,
No, not yet. He could develop into a star player, in my opinion.
that's
Like
definitely
I
I'll
watched
take.
him. I watched him while he played in high school and at Arkansas. And he was really good. He wasn't like as good in college, I'll say, as he
Okay,
could have been.
my draft hot
But
take is that Derek Lively is going to be a significantly better center than Wemby. So that's my
fair.
prediction.
I can agree with you. I'm not a Wemby hater, but I'm not fond of him. I
I
just
think
think the
like
hype is
Derek
insane.
Lively is really similar to Karl Anthony Towns, so he'll change the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you see the I saw this earlier today. Did you see the video of Wemby shooting around in the Spurs jersey and missing like 6 shots in a row?
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I'm not gonna be like he's gonna be trash because of that, because it was
Yeah.
him just shooting around. But he missed like 6 in a row before he just dunked it by reaching his hand up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. I saw a video this morning. I think it was a Sports Illustrated, and they were like, "Did you see Brichter Wembanyama?" And I lost it, bro. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen for some reason. But
bro's career's over because his name is Victor now, bro.
people are creative with that. But
Slander.
I will say, going back to
too creative.
going back to what you said earlier, Cam Whitmore is in my top 3 steals of the draft, just because character issues is probably the
Yeah.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I don't know, like, what do you mean by character issues? Because if you're gonna say character issues, Brandon Miller has character issues. He was on trial for
Yeah.
murdering, like, being involved in murdering somebody. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every NBA player, not every NBA player, but a good majority of them, if you're going to say he has character issues or whatever, you got to say that about most of the NBA players, because everyone
you could
has
say, like,
moments.
yeah, I mean, pre-draft, would you say Ja Morant had character issues? No. I
He
mean,
does
I feel
now.
like sometimes they develop. I mean, even Zion kind of has character issues now. I mean, he has an
Hush.
addiction.
Stop. Okay, I think that's a good way to end it. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it honestly is. Got through quite a few topics.
Yeah,
48-minute episode.
I don't.
Guess
don't
we'll
feel
have
like
to
we
see
missed
how the
anything.
draft plays out. No,
Important.
we'll have to see how the draft plays out.
See if
How
anybody
long
ends
is
up
there
good.
until the season actually starts? Or Summer League starts soon, doesn't it?
Summer League would be starting sometime next month.
We should definitely cover some of that
Mhm.
when it gets to there. So, thank you guys for watching. It was a pretty good
Watch some
episode.
of the young guys play. Yep.
Yeah, and we will see you next time.